Welcome back to Marked Anna Day 5. I am Jeanette, and today we close Anna's story, a story that began in barrenness but ends in breathtaking overflow. This episode is for anyone who's waited, prayed, and wondered. If God hears, He sees, and He knows. When God steps in, He doesn't just change your circumstance. He transforms your story. What once felt forgotten becomes the very space where destiny unfolds. The places that once broke you now become the places He blesses you. Today we trace Anna's journey from ache to abundance and discover how her faith gave birth to something that outlived her pain. God remembered Anna. After years of longing, after seasons of pain, after tears no one could count, God moved. Her prayer became a child, Samuel, which means God has heard. Imagine the moment. Arms that once carried emptiness now held life. Lips that once whispered in anguish now sang in joy. Anna's silence became a song. Her tears became testimony, and her barrenness became the birthplace of destiny. But here's the astonishing truth. The beauty of Anna's story isn't only in the answered prayer, it is in her response to it. She did not cling, she did not hoard, she did not demand recognition. She gave back what she prayed for. And God, in His mystery, multiplied her offering. Samuel was not the end. He was the beginning. God gave her more children, more blessings, and more overflow than she could have ever imagined. This is the divine paradox. What you release in faith, God returns in abundance. What you surrender in obedience, God multiplies beyond your expectation. What seems small in your hands becomes monumental in His. Anna's story teaches us that answered prayers are not only for celebration, they are for consecration. God didn't just bless her. He invited her to partner with heaven by giving back Samuel. This is a spiritual principle for all of us today. God's math isn't ours. The more we release to Him, the more He multiplies for us. Think of the layers of Hannah's journey. The ridicule, the provocation, the misunderstanding, the years of longing, the silent prayers that filled her days. But notice something powerful. The name Peninnah disappeared after Anna's breakthrough. The woman who once mocked her was never mentioned again. Because when purpose steps in, provocation fades out. When you stay in your lane and fix your eyes on God, the noise of the naysayers dulls, and destiny, divine destiny, takes center stage. Anna didn't waste her energy fighting Peninnah. She poured her heart before God, and that's the secret. The people who provoke you now will be irrelevant in the story God writes next. Your focus on purpose silences your critiques. Your faith drowns out their noise. Your obedience makes them a non-issue. Because destiny doesn't compete with distraction. It outgrows it. 1 Samuel 2:1 says, "And she said, my heart rejoices in the Lord. In the Lord my horn is lifted high. My mouth boasts over my enemies, for I delight in your deliverance. 1 Samuel 1:19 says, "And the Lord remembered her. So in the course of time, Anna became pregnant and gave birth to a son. She named him Samuel, saying, 'Because I asked the Lord for him.'" Anna's joy wasn't rooted in possession, but in obedience. Her praise was the overflow of a heart completely aligned with God's will. Here's how we step into Anna's overflow today. Do not cling to what God gives you. Do not hoard the blessings meant for His glory. Release, surrender, trust that what you give back to God is never lost. It will always return multiplied. Celebrate your answered prayers, but let celebration include consecration. Offer back your victories, your talents, your children, your gifts, your opportunities in faith, not in fear. Because multiplication always begins with surrender. When you receive, ask, "What can I release to honor God?" When you rejoice, remember, overflow is not just for me, it is for others through me. Anna's life teaches us this divine cycle, from longing to answered prayer, from surrender to multiplication, from silence to song, from barrenness to overflow. Your breakthrough isn't only about what you've received, it's about what you are willing to release. The miracle isn't just in the blessing, it is in the surrender that follows. When God remembers, your barrenness becomes the soil of abundance. So join me now as we declare this over our lives. Today, I declare, I will celebrate God's faithfulness in my life. I will release what I have received, trusting in His multiplication. I will praise God not only for provision, but for purpose. My surrender invites supernatural overflow. My obedience becomes the platform for my multiplied blessings. My answered prayers are not mine to hoard, they are heaven's to multiply. God remembers, God multiplies, God honors faith. And what I release in His name will return to me in abundance. Anna's tears became testimony. Her silence became song. Her barrenness became the birthplace of destiny. The child she prayed for became the seed of legacy, and the faith she lived became a roadmap for generations to follow. Because what you surrender does not leave your life, it leaves your hands and enters into God's economy. So maybe today you are standing where Anna once stood, between waiting and breakthrough, between promise and fulfillment. Remember this, the people who once provoked you will fade, but the purpose God planted in you will rise. Stay focused, stay faithful, stay surrendered. This is Jeanette, and you've been listening to Mark Anna Day 5, from barrenness to overflow. Don't forget to like, subscribe, and follow so you don't miss next week's series as we step into the remarkable story of Mary Magdalene, a woman once mocked by shame but transformed by grace. Because when Jesus enters your story, everything changes. And remember this: when purpose takes root, provocation loses its power. Until next time, take care and God bless.